What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. The NBA play-in tournament is on us. It's the first time in this format, of course. Travis, what did you think of the NBA play-in? Was it everything you hoped for?
Yeah, I mean, I tuned out that Pacers game once it kind of was getting ugly. I was like, yeah, this is not the best to watch. So I kind of tuned that out. And then I made a huge mistake spread. I was like, oh, the Celtics game, I thought it started at 9:30. I read the times wrong. So I started tuning in at 22-17, and the Celtics were looking good. And then, of course, second quarter was a bit of a disaster for them. And then everyone was in my ear saying the Celtics were in trouble. Hopped on the bet show on this channel with JJ and Uncle T. And then Celtics cruised to victory. I mean, it was good times. I watched that in the background while I talked about the PGA winners that we gave out on that show. Free show on this channel, so be sure to check that out. But yeah, I was happy the Celtics got home. I was happy Sabonis got home. It's a good way to start off the playoffs, right? 2-0, 2-0. So can't complain.
Yeah, definitely great job by the panel yesterday on those games. And Tyler, I said it in the pre-show, but I'm going to say it again. If I break down a game again and I say, hey, this team has a huge coaching advantage, and then I pick the other team, remind me not to do it, because we saw it all over again last night in that Washington game. It reminded me of when the Celtics played in 2014, 2015, where Isaiah Thomas was just hunting Gortat. Well, last night, instead of Gortat, they chose to hunt Ish Smith, and he just got killed over and over again. And to me, that was the difference in the game. But what did you think about the Celtics last night and the Indiana Pacers?
I mean, match the season, blowouts, and guys were left wide open for threes. Just looked like regular season games out there. Thought we were going to get some competition, but didn't really look like it.
Yeah, I mean, JSU, what did you think? I didn't see that playoff intensity on the defensive end that I expected to see. What were your takeaways from the game, JSU?
I mean, my takeaway is that I gave the people two winners. That's all that matters. I gave the people two winners. Yeah. I told you guys that the Hornets sucked pretty much. Mm-hmm. Frauds were the word, but sucked is a better word. And that showed. I mean, to me, I didn't even care if Brogdon played. Like, I could have gave a crap about that news. I still would have picked the Pacers either way. Uh-huh. Just the Hornets aren't good. People weren't seeing that for whatever reason. I had Big T on the Up to Lock show talking about the Hornets. And
I was just saying, just add him, JSU. Don't tweet him at the man. I mean, it was.
I already did. I added him in Discord. I called him up. I literally did everything I could to get at Big T. I got to drop in now and get at him a little bit more. But I tried to talk some sense into him in the Up to Lock show. He wasn't listening to me. We were on opposite ends, and didn't end well for Mr. Big T. Ended really nice for me. And then the Celtics. I mean, people weren't on the Celtics. I saw some really sharp people, too, talking up the Wizards and saying.
That was me. I thought they had a really great matchup. I thought they were playing well.
It wasn't just you, though, Spread. There were a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people in general that I respect, and they were on the Wizards. And I was on the complete opposite side. I thought the coaching advantage was a huge advantage, plus Celtics, which in the playoffs is way different than the coaching advantage in the regular season. People still don't understand that. And then on top of it, man, the Celtics, I thought they did an amazing job at forcing Russell Westbrook to do what he does not want to do. I thought in the first quarter, if you watch that game, it was perfectly scripted. The Celtics were trying to take charges left and right. Every time Russ put his head down and tried to drive to the rim, you saw Kemba stepping in and getting charging call. Semi Ojeleye took a charge. Even the ones that the refs didn't call, they were still trying to get charges on him in the beginning just to make him think about it. Once a player like that starts to think too much, it gets in their head a little bit. And then what do? They do what they don't want to do, which is start to take open jumpers. And that was the other thing I thought the Celtics did a really good job of, which was letting Russ take those shots. If he beats you shooting those threes, you got to tip your cap to him and move on. He was missing a lot of those threes. That helped the Celtics because there were a bunch of times where I thought, okay, Washington could make a run and take the lead, and they just couldn't do it. They couldn't. Russ couldn't get it done for them in the end. A few other guys couldn't get it done. I thought the Celtics overall just had the better game plan going in. I thought they did a really good job on Russell Westbrook.
Hey, JSU, I got to give you credit. Your words were echoing in my head as I was watching that game last night, and you're saying, well, when it comes down to it, I don't think that, Jason Tatum's going to be the guy that I want to get these buckets, and that's exactly what I saw in that game. I mean, he was head and shoulders above the rest of the players on the floor.
He's like so good, man. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I think a good comp for him is like, I don't think he's going to be like a LeBron or a KD, but like a Paul George, right? Like, amazing kind of player.
Oh, no, man, don't give him Paul George.
Paul George is great. I'm very high on Paul.
How about Paul George with a clutch gene, though? I mean, Paul George.
Thank you, Fred.
But that level star, right? Like, I don't know if he gets to like the top. Maybe he does get there. I don't know, but because like the KDs and the LeBrons are in that range, but Tatum is amazing, man. I think very highly of Paul George, so that's probably why JC probably don't think as high of him as I do. I think Paul George is very, very good, and he has had his woes, but I hope he rights the ship, and I hope it's maybe this year. I hope he at least gets to the finals. So
I should have muted myself when you said Paul George, so you could. Oh God, Paul
I want those takes, JSU. I want to argue with you a little bit.
Well, Jason Tatum, first of all, too, that was another thing I thought. I talked about it a little bit. His game. And I don't know if you guys see this too, but I think his game is perfect when it comes down to playoff time, right? When there's way more half-court offense involved, right? When the playoffs come, you guys all know this, even with faster-paced teams, the game slows down, the pace slows down, there's more half-court, there's more ISO, there's more your main guy needing to get buckets, especially down crunch time. And I think his game just suits this. He can score anywhere on the floor. He is that type of player. He can do it all, hit threes, hit mid-range jumpers. He can get to the hole. He can draw fouls, everything. Like, he is perfect for like playoff basketball, I think. And he has the clutch gene. He can make those late-game shots, like Fred said. He's got that, I think. It's just he's so good.
All right, well, let's dive into tonight's game, and then let's touch on that matchup for tomorrow, because I think it's the most fascinating part about the handicap is just the public going into it watching, one team lose and then one team win, and I wonder how much that's going to affect the way we view these teams. But let's start with tonight. Let's go to San Antonio Spurs, heading to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. They've lined this at a quite accurate -4. If you run a season-long model based on the team's performance, that's about what you're going to get. At this point, if you're running numbers, you're really not going to find an edge. You need to watch the tape and talk to sharp gentlemen like the ones I have on this panel today. So let's start with you, Travis. -4 and a total of 222.5. How are you approaching the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs?
Man, I've gone back and forth on this one. I don't think this is the easiest game for sure. I think Memphis. One thing I liked about them all season, especially the regular season, I like their depth. Right, you take some depth out of it now. Obviously, with the postseason upon us, you don't go into your bench, 12 deep. But I think that the Spurs are kind of interesting here, and I'm just trying to think through. And again, this is kind of like my first look at it, for sure. I'm thinking through this game, right? And Valanciunas versus Podol. I'm not saying Valanciunas is, has a matchup that is going to be really difficult, but Podol, I think, can cause enough problems, I think, for Valanciunas. And now on the opposite side, like, I think Murray can get the job done. If the game's close, like, don't count out someone like DeRozan, right? Like, DeRozan is that guy. JSU talked about it, right? We've been discussing the guy that can get you that bucket, right? In those final 5 minutes. Like, if this game is close at the end, like, I don't want to bet against the Spurs here in this spot. I think it'll be a lot more difficult. I think the Memphis, they don't have that as much there. So my lean is to go with the Spurs, and go with the money line. That's like my value bet of this game, I would say. I don't want to jump on Memphis with the 4.5. I don't even mind taking the Spurs at the +4.5, but I think I'm going to go with the Spurs' money line as my favorite bet in this game.
All right, I like it. Although a bit of a pushback is I do believe that Valanciunas is going to cause Podol some problems. He's going to look significantly stronger out there, so it'll be interesting to see how that matchup turns out. And you could be right. If I was doing one of my articles, I might put that as my key matchup there, right? Because if Podol is able to slow him down, Grizzlies are in trouble. But if Valanciunas rolls like I kind of expect him to, wouldn't you say that Memphis is in trouble? San Antonio.
Yeah, I think he can limit him enough. I think that's going to be definitely something to watch. I think the Murray and Ja thing's going to be key. But I'll say this: JSU was a really good pulse on like Memphis, like especially Valanciunas and Ja. So I'm curious to hear his take because maybe JSU can wow me and change me to the other side. I know I value JSU's take on those two guys because I feel like he's had a very good read on it. But that's my read on it with the situation. I definitely want to hear JSU's though because I know he has a good pulse on it.
Well, let's get Tyler's first, and then we'll let JSU back clean up here. Tyler, what do you think of this game? San Antonio, Memphis, -4, 222.5.
I mean, this is a tough game for me. Memphis has been a thorn in my side all year. And San Antonio has just been that team. It's like one night they look good, the next night they get blasted by 40. So, I mean, I think Memphis has the better team, so I'd probably lean them to win the game. Now, do I want to lay 4? Not really, with these teams being very close, but probably a wait and bet at live spot.
Yeah, and Tyler, I told you I was flummoxed by that coaching disadvantage when I took the Wizards last night. What do you think of it tonight, right? So we've sung Taylor Jenkins' praises all year. Now maybe we're just underrating this Memphis roster, but it's a little different. It's getting a team to kind of outperform expectations in the regular season and then go up against Pop. How much of trouble do you think Memphis is in on the sidelines, or do you think that Jenkins can keep up?
I think Jenkins can keep up. I mean, it's not like Pop has the best team to work with either. Like, he's going to be undersized in this game. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think Memphis should be fine. It's not Scott Brooks to Brad Stevens like we seen last night.
Hey,
yeah, I mean,
I think
still
both
kicking
points are
myself.
decent, but Pop is probably the best one, right? Of the two, you'd obviously lean that side. So
obviously, especially when you're talking about making these adjustments that we had mentioned earlier, that we said we overlooked. All right, JSU, we teed it up for you. Bring us all home.
Yeah, so I was just kind of looking into this game as you guys were talking. I'm like kind of stunned. I don't understand how the Spurs are 4.5-point dogs.
You love to see it.
I don't get it. Spurs are the better team. They're just better overall. Like they're better than this team. They have a better coach. They have been. So the reason why in the regular season the Spurs have looked good one day and then the next day looked like crap is a few different reasons. One, it's a regular season. They really didn't care. A lot of guys were in and out of the lineup. They clearly weren't running their team to the minutes that they're going to get in the playoffs. Like if you look at DeMar's minutes, they've been holding them back. This is a guy who, when you get to the playoffs, he's going to play 40 minutes in this game. He hasn't been playing 40 minutes a game. DeJounte Murray, another guy. He's going to play like 38 to 40 minutes in this game. They're going to play all their studs. The rotations are going to tighten. That's why I don't care as much about the depth, Mangone. You talk about the depth of Memphis. Don't really care about that. Like the rotations tighten, so there's less players that are going to see the floor and less time too with the bench guys. So it's really just give me those 5, 6, 7 guys, like the main 7 guys that are going to get the run. I think the Spurs are the better team overall. Joe Val could for sure give them problems. I do agree with spread there that Joe Val is definitely the guy who you have to worry about. The reason why I don't worry as much about Ja is because DeJounte Murray is a perfect guy to put on Ja. He's quick enough laterally. He can stay with them to a point. He's long enough where he can make those mid-range shots. When he gets into the lane, he can make those things difficult, right? He's got those long arms. He's a good defender too. Talking about the playoffs, these guys are going to D up. I think it's a little tougher matchup for Ja, and you're going to see the Spurs end up winning this game. I like the Spurs money line here. I mean, the safer bet is obviously taking the points, but I think they win. I think they're just overall the better team. So I'm going to back the better team. I love DeJounte. Did you guys see him post on Twitter something like, "Hey, ESPN."
On the ESPN?
Yeah. Saying, "Hey, we're in this thing too." Like, they're going to be ready to go. Pop's going to make sure they're ready to go. So I trust Popovich and I trust these guys. Like Mangone said too, DeMar DeRozan. I mean, when it comes down to the end of the game, out of everyone in this game, I for sure trust him the most out of everyone on both sides. So give me that team with the better coach, and I think the better overall player when it comes down to late game, like clutch shots.
All right. Well, if you watch that breakdown and you can't give this video a thumbs up and give this channel a subscribe, I don't know what else we can do. Let's go around the horn and talk about the total real quick. 222.5. Travis, I was surprised at the lack of defense in the first game. I don't think we get that tonight. I'm still riding these under trains. What are you thinking about the total?
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched that Memphis Warriors game and I ended up betting that under and that cashed, right? When I was live betting. It's because I like the intensity that Memphis brought, right? Like they had Dylan Brooks who instantly was just chasing people right from the go, not worrying at all, right? Not sitting back and relaxing. I do think I would lean the under here. I think that I want to lean on these. It's not going to be my favorite bet. I like the Spurs money line better, but I'm with you. I think I lean on that. And one more point I want to bring up with Jay, so you're talking about the depth. The thing I also think with Memphis is why their depth doesn't matter. A lot of those guys are like the same, right? Like they don't have depth where it's like, okay, if we need another ball handler out there that can be dominant, we can bring him in to really get it done. Like Melton's not that, right? I mean, Melton's fine for the regular season, but they have a lot of guys that are like the same, kind of like Dallas. Like my issue, like, and I think Big T kind of got this in my head, but I agree with him. Is like they just have a lot of dudes like around Luka and Porzingis that are just kind of the same in a lot of different ways. So I feel similar to that with the Grizzlies, and that's one reason I don't love their depth there. But I'm with you on the under. I think you're going to see some defense being played, and I'm excited to watch this one because I think it's going to be close, right? I think these two games we're going to see tonight are going to be closer than last night's games, and that should be more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be fantastic basketball tonight, and I think that any criticisms of the play-in tournament have gone out the window. The last two seasons of the regular season were way more exciting, and this has been a lot of fun so far. Tyler, over under 222.5. What do you think?
Don't go jinxing us saying we're getting good basketball night spread. We've seen that last night. We had 2 blowouts, but I mean,
at least we got an all-timer from Tatum.
Yeah. But I'd probably lean under here, too. I mean, Memphis should lock in on defense. The Spurs should do the same. Mm-hmm. My only worry is Memphis does play at a high pace, so if their pace does get implemented into this game, these two teams are going to get up and down the floor.
Tyler, I think you'll see that slow pace, the half-court offenses, just like we talked about.
Yeah, just run it through him, not let Jaw get the speed going. I could see him doing that.
JSU, what do you think? Everyone seems to like the under so far. Are we missing something?
Yeah, no, I mean, the play would be the under, I think, if I was taking a side here. I do think both teams want to play in that half-court, style, right? Like Joe Val and Ja, they want to play the two-man game a little bit, get him on the block a little too. So it makes sense. The Spurs on the other side is similar. I prefer, though, when the Spurs try and get out and run, like with DeJounte and all those guys, but there's no Derek White. That kind of hurts a little bit because he's a pretty good player that they're missing. But like Patty Mill in transition, he's a really good transition 3-point shooter. A few of these other guys, I wish the Spurs actually ran more, but that's not their style of play. We all know they play slower. So I think the under is probably the way to go. And people in the chat right now, some people are talking about, regular season. The Grizz beat the team twice, whatever, and then some stats for some of the guys. This regular season especially, like, I don't put as much stock in the regular season at all, like 0. All those games were different. I'm sure the Spurs rested some guys some of those games. Memphis might have been missing some guys some of those games. Like, I think it's a completely different thing. The postseason, like we said, it always tightens up. The defense is a little more, it's a little slower pace. Coaching is going to play a big part in this as well. You got 2, I would say, pretty good coaches. I mean, Pop is a really, really good coach, obviously. Taylor Jenkins, though, he's not a bad coach, right? So he's not like terrible. It's just all these things. It's not the regular season, though. It's going to be different. I know Tyler's over here talking about, we got 2 blowouts yesterday. There was still some strategy and scheme. You could tell with the Celtics. There was still, just because it ended up being an 18-point game. It was close. It was a back and forth between these teams for a little bit. Celtics ended up, obviously Tatum just destroyed in the end. But like, there was still some scheme involved and some strategy that helped them get there.
Oh, I don't doubt that in the second game. The first game, though, that was just
looked
like a regular season.
The first game, though, the Hornets had no business even being there. That's what that was my whole point.
I'm pretty sure if us four went and grabbed the fifth guy, we can make more shots than the Hornets made in that game.
I mean, again, they just. I tried to tell people yesterday they were so much worse than all the other teams in that play-in situation, and people were just they didn't see it. I didn't understand the line. The line was way too close.
The Hornets and LaMelo fit the regular season basketball really well. They're not going to fit that playoff style right now, the way that team's set up. Like, again, people forget, like, regular season, they think because we watch this, like, that's what it is. But the playoffs, we see, like, 95% of basketball is regular season, 5% it feels like it's playoffs. And, like, these teams are not the same. It changes. These guys ramp it up. They understand that. So things change when it comes to postseason time.
I wish I had like the sound drop of the Draymond talking about there's 82 game players and there's 16 game players, because it seems to be the theme of the show today. Yeah. Let's jump in. Speaking of Draymond, he will be in center stage tonight in the main event. Golden State Warriors renew the rivalry. LA Lakers. Warriors finished the season 39-33. Lakers were 42-30. Lakers are -5.5. I was saying yesterday I did my net with pod with my buddy Noops from Philly, and we were talking about maybe the Warriors money line being the value, but I had some time last night after the games. I was rewatching some of those earlier Lakers games. The Lakers were 2-1 this season, but the one game the Warriors won, the Lakers were up by like 20-something, and they completely lit their foot off the gas. They started messing around, and then when the Warriors made their surge, they couldn't get it back. It almost feels like, even though it's 2-1, it was like a 3-0 regular season here. So that's an argument you can make for the Lakers. Argument for the Warriors, over the last 20 games, they had the best record in the NBA, 15-5. So they ended the season in pretty much some of the best form in the Western Conference here. Good arguments on both sides. And we got to give the Lakers front office the Assholes of the Year awards for putting LeBron and AD as probable today. Like, come on, guys. Like, seriously, we're still doing this? Like, there's a chance they're not playing. You guys had to do that to put that on the injury report. So maybe something that they need to work on there as far as transparency. But Travis Mangone, let's start with you. Golden State, Los Angeles Lakers. Who's your pick in this big showdown?
Yeah, well, at least I appreciate consistency, at least spread. So if you're just gonna be a jerk, just do it all the time. Right?
Okay, good point. So all right, good point.
So they're being consistent. We'll say that. But man, this one's tough. I've gone back and forth. We got the line now at +6. This thing is really yo-yo. It opened at 6.5, then it moved to 4 at one point. Now it's back to 6. I lean going with the Warriors +6. But I don't have a strong lean on this, I will say. And I'm someone that, like, when I bet the Warriors, I think they're better to alt-line them. So if you think they're going to win, right, like, basically go like even further, right? Because that means Steph Curry went nuclear. If you think they're going to lose, Steph's probably going to be really boxed up and it's going to be a problem. And then go the other way. Like, maybe give 9.5, right? That's just, I think, not a bad way to bet the Warriors. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it feels like that could be correct with the way he is and the swings that he has in the games when you watch them. But ultimately, I'm leaning that +6 is the value right now. If it moves to like 4, 4.5, like, I start to lean back the other way where I think the number's right. But I think there is still some value on the number at +6. Don't have strong conviction on it. Like that Spurs one way more, though.
Yeah. The line movement doesn't surprise me at all, right? I knew that overnight bettors are usually going to hit the dog, and then the public's going to come back, and the Lakers are the public team, even though, Curry is pretty popular. I think that line movement is pretty. I think the Lakers will continue to take money here today. They're just the more popular team, and now we get the public influx. So we'll see how that turns out. Tyler, what do you think about this game?
This game, I'll plant my foot on this one.
Let's hear it. I love it.
Bet the Lakers up to -10. Wow. You're telling me that 6'4" Draymond Green is going to play center today when you're going to have two 7-footers under the hoop?
He did.
You're also telling me that Steph Curry is going to come off a Draymond Green screen and only get one defender? That guy's leaving Draymond wide open. They're going to force the ball out of Curry's hands. They're going to make someone else beat them. I don't think anybody else can. I think Anthony Davis goes off. I think they run away with this and just win it easily.
Spread, did Tyler not see Draymond's interview the other day after the game? They asked him about
what? I'm a dog. You could be a dog.
I'm a motherfucking dog, man.
But when you're
anyone on me, he said. I mean, he's going to struggle with AD, though. I mean, this is different.
But when you're a wiener dog going up against a Doberman, good luck.
It's a fair point.
The most fire you've spit, Tyler. I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that matchup alone because like intense Draymond is so fun to watch. So I can't wait. I do like part of me does like agree with you. It's like, man, like it does seem like the doubles are going to come a lot at Curry.
We talked about it yesterday. LeBron's one of the smartest players to ever play.
Yeah.
You can't tell me he's not going to be telling Schroeder and KCP and guys, do not let him come off of that screen by himself. Make sure both of you guys are there. Force the ball out of his hands. Make him send it back to Green. If Green shoots 12 threes today and makes 11 of them, so be it.
Yeah, it's one of those games I feel like I look at the +6 and I feel like it's value. Like I said, it feels like value, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like I could feel so dumb. Like once the game's over, like Lakers just blow them out, right? And just feel like an absolute idiot. But it's going to be fun to watch. This game is like the game that I've been looking forward just to watch, like basketball. You know what I mean? Like the atmosphere in this one is going to be so much fun. I don't need to even have money. Like there's few games can be like, I don't need money on the line for it to enjoy it. I could watch this with probably $0 on the line and really
still enjoy it. This game reminds me also of those few Warriors games earlier in the year when everyone's like, oh, here's this great matchup. They're playing the Nets. Here's this great matchup. They're playing the Bucks. And we looked at the score at the end of the games, and they lost.
To be fair, Draymond didn't play those games, and those were the first 2 games in the new system for the team.
Yeah.
So, but no, you make some good points, and I love that you're sitting here complaining about the blowout yesterday, and then calling your shot on the blowout today. So
definitely, I like the alt line idea. I really think that alt lining against the Warriors and for the Warriors is the move because of how much things move with Curry. Because if it's not working, it just dies. Like
the Warriors have one path to win this game. The Lakers have multiple paths. They can go big. They could beat you up down low. They could just let LeBron be LeBron, or they could just muscle you. So unless the Warriors are raining threes and it's coming out of Curry's hands, they're not winning this game.
Gosh, Tyler has me wanting to just like throw like -12 in the Lakers right now. You just I'm curious to hear. Maybe Jason could maybe turn me whenever he.
And if they try and go, like, what do the Warriors do to try and go big to counteract the Lakers? If the Lakers send out Drummond, AD, LeBron, KCP, Dennis Schroeder. You're going to tell me Looney's going to guard Drummond under the hoop?
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if they brought. I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to put Draymond maybe on. I guess they have to put Looney under the paint, and then Draymond stuck on AD. And
if they don't bring in Looney, what are they bringing in? Juan Toscano Anderson? Good fucking luck.
You know that he's a darling of Warriors Twitter, right?
I love some JTA.
You're bringing in a 6'4" guy to guard a 7-footer. Good luck.
So the path would be, and this is something like the Hornets do, right? When shit is just falling apart, you know what they do? They just say, we're just going to go small and try and out-shoot you out the gym, right?
Yep.
And spread you, which is what could happen. Like if you're watching the game and that's what they try to do, there could be a great live betting opportunity because that could just be a disaster. So, that's definitely a route.
Also, a guy that played very good for the Warriors down that late stretch probably isn't showing up tonight. His name's Andrew Wiggins.
As I say, Jordan Poole as well. But yeah.
They're look, LeBron's got 3 names marked down. Stephen Curry's first, Jordan Poole's second, Andrew Wiggins third. Stop the main guy, stop the bench guy, stop the role player. They win by 20.
We got a good question in chat, actually. Drexler's asking Curry unders. I don't know what they are, man. Are they?
It's 36.5. I'm going under.
What are you doing, spread?
I'm not playing a Curry under.
It's a scary one.
He could drop 42, and this whole scenario that you guys laid out could still be valid. Isn't that crazy that he drops 42 and they still lose by 20?
I think so because I think they'd pull him late. I think once it gets
out of hand.
Why
would they pull him?
Because they get a second chance at this. The same reason why Russ and Beal went to the bench.
Yeah, that's a decent point on betting those unders is the early pull, especially what we saw yesterday. I do think that's a good take on like a path to victory as well.
And I don't think this is the same. Like when we looked at Tatum's unders yesterday, it was like, man, I really don't want to get in front of this guy because there's no one else on the other side that can stop him. There's multiple guys on the Lakers side that can disrupt Curry all game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the total real quick before JSU gets back. Opened at 220. Now I see it 218. I still love the under here, but I've given out the under for every playing game so far. So I mean. Why don't you guys enlighten me a little more, right? I mean, I get to feel like a broken record at this point.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with the under.
Yeah, I would stick with the under. Again, it is interesting. So I think a good way to attack, and it's probably a good strategy to talk about, a good way to attack some of these totals is try to figure out what the regular season handicap would be versus like the playoff handicap, and like look at the line, right? Like, what do you think this line would be if it was a regular season game, right? Do you think this would be at the 228? Would it be 225? Where would it be? I don't think that's a bad way to think about these things and try and figure out what the gap is and see if maybe the line is priced inefficiently. I don't know if you guys ever think it through that way, but I think that's not a bad way to approach it.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. But a lot of the books have adjusted. If you look at a lot of the compare them, they knock them down 4 to 5 points, and then if they're not, the market's doing it immediately after the books post a higher line. But I think you had a great point there, Tyler. Why don't you give me your thoughts on the total, and then we'll get JSU's thoughts on the whole game.
I lean under. I mean, the Lakers' defense will be in full effect. LeBron's played Curry multiple times. He knows how to slow him down. You walk the ball up the floor and you play half-court ball. You don't let him get out in transition and just shoot threes. So I think it's the under in the Lakers here all day. Yeah, I can see this being like a 112 to like a 92 finish.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record on these unders, but until they adjust these totals, this should be like 212.
Yep.
So... And we're going to see it. My guess is that when we're doing these rundowns here a week or two from now, the totals that we're talking about are going to be way lower than what we're talking about today. JSU, you had a little break, but now you are back for the main event. And Travis has been hyping it up, talking about how much he wants to hear this breakdown. So what do you think? Golden State and the LA Lakers, both Mangone and Tyler like the Lakers.
Okay, all three of you like the Lakers?
I'm still going back and forth. I think the value is on the words, but the more we talk about it, man, like I could be swayed to the Lakers.
Tyler's got the
strongest take so far. I just don't see how one guy beats the champs from last year who have multiple pieces added. I just can't.
Yeah, so one, I apologize. I had my dog just had surgery, so I had to answer the call. It was the vet or whatever. So I just had to answer the call, make sure he was doing good. He's doing fine too. So everything's good. Right. But for this game, I think I'm more leaning towards the Golden State with the 6 than I am the Lakers. I understand people who want to say, I just can't see them in the end winning this game though. I understand that. But I will say, in games like this, I mean, Steph Curry, this is the stuff this is what he wants. He's been waiting for, these games to start meaning something. Him and Draymond, they're gonna come in ready to play for sure. The key is gonna be who wins out. Can Golden State push the transition, get shots up quickly in transition, which is where they're really effective, right? Defenses are scrambling. Defenses aren't set, right? And they take advantage of that. That's how they really win. That's how they beat teams. Teams that are scrambling defensively when they're in transition offense, and they can take advantage of those teams. Now, if the Lakers slow the game down and force that on them, the Lakers will win this game. So it's two teams that want to be completely different in how they approach these games. And who wins out? The Lakers clearly have the advantage on the boards. That's for sure. They have a huge advantage inside if they want to attack that. You'll see LeBron multiple times when they get out in transition and score. You'll see LeBron run towards the inbounder and be like, give me the ball. And like tell Schroeder or whoever's the other guard to like get out of his way. And that's when LeBron knows in his head that things are going too fast and he needs to slow it down. And that's when you'll see him start to walk the ball up. So like if they can keep this game moving, Golden State, and keep the transition offense getting good looks while the Lakers are still scrambling, Steph is a tough cover for this Lakers team. The Lakers team has a lot of size. Steph is not someone LeBron wants to be running around chasing. Trust me, LeBron doesn't want to be dealing with Steph running around on the outside. That's way too much work. You know what I mean? Like, this is not an easy matchup for any team to have Golden State in this like type of game where it's pretty much like you need to win. Like, you need to win this game. So I think I lean the +6. I'm not going to go crazy and be like money line Golden State. My heart wants money line Golden State because I want to see Steph Curry, put on a show, and I think they're going to need that out of him. They're going to need the Jason Tatum performance, like that 50 burger almost, like 40 to 50. They're going to need that type of game from Steph.
Yeah, I mean, so if you want to take the points with the Lakers, you have to think that they can. I mean, with the Warriors, you have to think that they can be competitive on the glass somehow. Like, how do you see them matching up with that big lineup? Or do you think that they completely go away from the big lineup and we see AD at the 5 tonight? Or do you think they'll run Drummond, AD, and LBJ and try and hammer them? So, but on the other side, that lineup's so slow.
Here's the problem, though.
Can't score on that big lineup.
Here's the problem, though. The Warriors are a perimeter team, right?
Right.
So what is that going to cause problems for? That's going to cause problems for bigs who get switched out on the perimeter. There are so many screens set, and it's like awkward too because there's random screens. Like just people are just they see Steph running by him and they just turn around and they just set a screen for him real quick. Draymond does it all the time. Where he'll like flick him the ball and he'll set a screen almost instantly. It's just tough to deal with. And so guys are going to get switched out on Steph. And if Drummond gets into a point where they're constantly picking on him and trying to get him switched onto a guy like Steph, and he's, shaking, shimmying him and doing his dribbling and dazzling and stuff, and then he hits those threes, you could see the Lakers just go small and
Don't
say,
you
we're
think
just
that guard, though, that
five.
gets screened blows through that screen and just leaves Draymond there by himself? Because, I mean, if you double Curry, force the ball out of his hands, Draymond Green ain't shooting 35 threes to beat you that game.
No, he's not.
You leave him wide open.
Here's the thing with Draymond, though, is he's not going to shoot those threes. He's not. Like, that's not what he does. Watch.
I think it's just going to be anybody else but Curry tonight for the Lakers.
I guarantee you what's going to happen. They're going to do that, Tyler, like you said. Draymond's going to get the ball. He's either going to dribble. He's going to dribble into the paint, force them to collapse, and then he's going to dish. Or he's going to dribble towards Steph and do the patented handoff screen where it's tough to fight through that screen when Draymond just nails you.
Yeah.
He's a good screen setter. He's really good at setting screens, good angles. That is the tough thing about guarding this team is you can try and force Draymond to score. Draymond's smart. He's a smart basketball player. He knows what they're trying to do. And even when I play basketball, my brother told me this. Whatever the team is letting you do, don't ever do it. Never do it. It's just it's wrong. If they want you to shoot, well, you drive, even if they're lagging off you.
I think the Lakers
they're up
are
on
just
you don't do whatever you want. Draymond is smart enough. He understands that. So you could say the Lakers are going to do this. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work on Draymond. It'll work on Russell Westbrook. It'll work on those type of guys. They think they're good shooters. They're going to shoot those shots if you keep leaving them open. Marcus Smart, same thing. He'll shoot those threes if you leave them open. Draymond won't.
Yeah, but I just think it's as long as it's anybody but Curry. If he got to drive and kick the Wiggins to shoot a three, so be it. If you got to drive and kick the Bazemore to shoot a three, so be it. As long as number 30 isn't letting that ball out of his hands.
Though, in the end, number 30 is going to shoot like double-digit threes no matter what.
Yeah, but if there's two hands in his face, I mean, how many of those are going in?
I mean, I've seen Steph make some of the most ridiculous three-pointers I've ever seen. Like, he's
I
that type
agree
of guy.
with you there. Best shooter ever, but I just think this is like this.
Well,
this reminds me of the finals a couple years ago too. It's like they're just going to hound him.
He's the best off the dribble 3-point shooter in ever. Yeah. I don't think ever. Like not Ray, like no 3-point shooter.
Those old school guys never shot off the dribble.
No, not like that either. It is way harder to shoot off the dribble like the way he does. He'll put moves on dudes. And he'll move for like 10 seconds. He'll dribble for like 10 seconds before he shoots. That's so hard to do. Those guys couldn't do that. I mean, set shooting, maybe it's a little closer. I still think Steph's probably the best, but he doesn't shoot a lot of set threes. Why? because no one lets him just set up and shoot in the corner. Like that's how good
like
he is, though.
When Durant was there, he got some, but not anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. I think we did a great breakdown of this game. And then what we're going to do for you guys is we are going to break down the Indiana-Washington game right now. If something like completely changes with injury news or something like that, Tyler and I will come back tomorrow and we'll do a separate breakdown of the new game. But if it just rolls like it is now, because I don't think that any of this injury report, I don't expect anyone to show up on here. So I think we can do a pretty good handicap of it. And we just watched the teams last night, so let's knock it out. Travis, let's start with you. The Pacers tomorrow night are catching 3.5 in Washington. And I said it's going to be an interesting situation where, we just watched the Wizards lose and we just watched the Pacers win. I'm wondering how that affects the way that we're approaching this game. And what do you think of this game overall, Travis?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's affecting my thoughts. I'm wondering if I early in the season I liked what the Pacers had. I thought that they had like a really good team. Like I thought TJ Warren could be back too. Like I thought overall their starting five would be great, and I thought making the playoffs would be easy for them. So I put some money on them to make the playoffs. So I'm definitely invested in Indiana. I thought they should be minus like 2.5 or minus 1.5. I'm surprised they're the dog. So my lean is to go with Indiana here. I don't think that the Wizards have the guys to stop him down low. I think Sabonis can do whatever he wants. I don't think people realize how good Sabonis is. I mean, the dude is unbelievable. And I also think that Indiana has enough to be able to slow down guys like Westbrook, right? Bradley Beal, I also don't think is healthy. That's another thing I think that is not factoring into this line properly. And I talked about it yesterday. I thought that Beal was a little banged up. He looked to be banged up in my opinion. And I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with the Pacers. And again, just like the Spurs, let's leave the points. We'll give them to the next guys, Big T says. We're going to take the Pacers, and we're going to take them plus 136.
I love it. All right, Tyler, what do you think? Are you going to join Travis there on the money line with the Indiana Pacers in the Fighting Sabonis?
Oh, man, I have to. I mean, after watching Bradley Beal run up and down the floor holding his hamstring all game, I mean, Westbrook's going to do what he does best here. He'll look good for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, when the game comes down to it, he's going to shoot him in the foot.
Brogdon's really good, too. I don't think people realize Brogdon's a very good player.
Brogdon is a very, very good point guard who's going to give him troubles all game. They have no one to stop Sabonis, just like he said. So, I mean, I agree. I think that line's wrong, and I think you just take the money line and get the plus money.
All right, JSU, what do you think? Two teams on the Pacers here so far. What are you thinking?
Oh, so we're talking the Pacers game now? I thought we weren't talking that game.
No, we'll do it right now, and then Tyler and I will jump back on, like if Brogdon and Sabonis are out or Beal sits or something, and we have to redo the handicap. But
it's interesting that the line is 3.5 right now. The Wizards are favored. Like looking at it on DK Sportsbook, I thought it'd be a little closer than that. I think these two teams are really close. Like I would have thought like pick them honestly. Like I think it's that close, but. I think in the end, the Wizards win. I think they're a team that can match what Indiana wants to try and do. They're very different than the Celtics. I think Indiana's going to have a tough time stopping Washington. What you saw in the last game was from, really good, in my opinion, coaching and strategy. I don't think the Wizards are going to fall for that trap 2 games in a row. And I don't think that the Indiana Pacers can actually do what the Celtics did. So, yeah, Brogdon's a good defender. That's fine. Like, he's really good, actually. But overall, their defense is not good. So, give me Washington. I think they win. I'll just take them. I'll just bet them money line probably.
All right. 2 on Indiana, 1 on Washington. Anything else on that game before we move to the best bets?
Yeah, let's have some fun. We got to guess the total, right? We've seen these games come in at like 250, and they finished at the end of the game with 290.
Did you see what they lined it at?
They don't have a line yet on DK.
I see 241.
Oh, 241?
And Will Hill. Will Hill's got a 241. I can't bet into it, but I use Will Hill usually is pretty early in the market, and I kind of use that to get an idea of where my offshores are going to open. And then sometimes I get jealous because you guys get these great numbers or people with access to it, and then by the time it hits the offshore, the value's gone. But it's going to be at 241. Would you go over there, Tyler? I mean, did they have like a 155 to 149 or something earlier?
Yeah, they finished like 294 points in the regular season, the one game. But I mean, it's like you want to hit over here, but it's like this pace should slow down. 240 is a really high number, but we did just see the Pacers hang, 130?
Yeah, I mean, these teams didn't really seem to up their playoff intensity on the defensive end yesterday like we expected. Mangone, would you go over here?
I don't think you're going to see much change in the defense. Let's be honest here, people. Come on. Jason Tatum just hung 50 last night. Like, there's no upping the defense here.
And we've given out 4 unders so far on these playing games, so it'd be nice to just give them a change of pace. Travis,
it'd be nice if LeVert was playing in this game.
I don't think you're crazy. Gosh, man, that's tough. I just think, man, I'm worried about Beal, and I just think this game. The thing is, it could be a blowout, but like the Pacers could blow them out, where like it still goes over. That's the crazy part, right? I mean,
yeah,
we saw it last night. I don't know. I kind of, yeah. I lean over. I'm because it's these two teams, right? I mean, these teams don't play any defense, and it just they feel like the anomaly. So I'm with you. I'll lean over, but not. Man, it's tough because again, these teams. Like Pacers, we didn't see much defense played, even though I know the Hornets ended up getting it done. The Wizards too. They just don't. Both sides just don't play any defense. And I know we want to talk about the playoff atmosphere and everything, but like sometimes when you can bring defense if you have it, but these two teams just don't.
All right, and JSU, another reason I wanted to do this game, it gave us one extra option here for the best bet segment. So let's go straight to it. Travis, what is your best bet of the day for today or tomorrow's games?
Yeah, we'll hit the Spurs money line. I got plus 165. So we'll go with the San Antonio, ride them out. And I like them here in this spot. We'll go with them money line.
Tyler, what do you got for us? Best bet for today or tomorrow side total prop?
Give me Lakers -5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever you want.
This is I love the good takes here, Tyler. This is the most fire you've come with here in the last couple weeks.
I'm planting my flag.
And JSU, you have been completely on point so far. Pretty much, you've just given us perfect previews, like you're writing the script of these games. What do you got for a best bet for us tonight?
Well, to be fair, we've only had 2 games, so
2 for 2.
I mean, 2 for 2 is nice, but we've only had 2. So, well, hopefully we can go 4-0, and then maybe we can talk about it a little bit on the next show we do spread. But I'm going to go with my best bet is going to be the Spurs. Give me the Spurs money line. I'm seeing it at plus 160 right now, I think, on DK Sportsbook. Give me the Spurs outright. I think they win this game. That'll be my best bet. And Matthew Westlake, I did not play like Steph. I wish I played like Steph. Middle school, high school. I mean, any school, like any time, I wish I played like Steph. I was not like Steph Curry. Absolutely not. I like to get people involved more. I was more of I was a passing guard. I didn't try and score myself as much, even though I could score. But
all right, and the reason I added tomorrow's game in is that's where I'm going to go for my best bet. Give me the over in that Wizards game. These teams.
That's the real reason, spread. You wanted to give a total.
I mean,
that's the real reason you wanted to give an over under.
I don't want to get involved in the Lakers game because I emotionally invested because I root against the Lakers more than I root for my own favorite team because it just gives me more. And then you guys already gave out the Spurs. I guess I could have given out the Lakers under tonight. I don't hate that. But I like this over tomorrow night even more. So, and assuming nothing changes, that'll be give you guys a breakdown for tomorrow. And we're going to figure out when we're going to do our official playoff preview when we get off, but I will put that on Twitter so everybody can know. Everybody, thank you for hanging out today. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Travis, you want to let everyone know what's going on over at Run Pure Sports for the next couple days?
Yeah, lots going on. We got the MLB show at 4 o'clock. We got the premium show at 5:30. We got the premium show with JSU, with Big T and Uncle T talking the PGA golf. And JSU, we're giving away a ticket, right? Tell the people a little bit about that because we're doing a little giveaway. And if you're like not a member, this is definitely something to get in on.
Yeah, so the show is going to be. We're going to do a free show for everyone at 9 o'clock on YouTube on the Run Pure Sports YouTube page, and we're going to be doing a giveaway. So pretty much right now, if you're not a member. You want to become a member, we have a promo code going. PGA Champ is the code. It'll get you 50% off your first monthly subscription. And it will get you in the drawing for a $555 ticket. So we're going to give one to a current member and one to a new member, someone who signs up. And there's already talks. Big T's already talking up on Twitter about possibly giving a third. So who knows by the time we get to the end of the show how many tickets we actually give away? Because Big T's, the tweet was only out for like 30 minutes, and he was already talking about, 30 minutes later giving a third ticket away. So who knows how many tickets we're going to give away, but we're going to give away some tickets. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some golf winners. And then we're going to transition from the free show towards the end after we go through the entire player pool field for PGA. We're going to transition to a premium show where we'll pick those winners for the tickets, and we'll answer questions for the subs in our live show chat in Discord, and we'll have some fun. Maybe we'll invite some other coordinators on, like Mangone and Hoop and whoever else wants to come on and join us. So, Mangone, you're on mute.
I was going to say, should I block some time out in my schedule tonight to join and have a good time?
Well, I mean, I assume you're going to watch the show, so yeah, you should block some time out for the after show.
Yeah,
after show with the members.
I'll watch. I might be behind. I watch on delay sometimes, and then I just listen on 1.5 speed because I like to listen fast. As you can tell, I talk fast. I do everything fast. I got to be efficient.
You're not going to want to listen. You're not going to want to listen on delay.
Yeah, maybe 30 minutes. I'll do 30-minute delay, and then I'll catch up by the end of the show.
I don't know how you listen to stuff on 1.5.
Oh, it's a game changer. You consume way more.
I've accidentally hit that button on my iWatch before, and it's like, why are they talking so fast in my ear?
I remember the first time I did it, it was on accident, and this was a long time. This was a while ago, and for a day, I couldn't figure out why it was talking fast. I must have done it by accident, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally, my girlfriend, I was like, listen to this. Why are they talking so fast? And she's like, the speed's up. You got to just change it. And she just showed me real quick. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I must have done that. So, yeah, but come subscribe and, make sure you tune in for that show. I got roped into drinking again because the subscriber hit for 5 figures. And I made a bet if someone hit for 5 figures, I would drink. So I will be drinking. I got my wine already ready. Yep, Brittany knows. I got my wine ready, chilled. Get that wine chilled. I will do that, Brittany. That is the plan, to get it chilled and ready to go. I took down a bottle last time, Mangone. Everyone was saying I just had a glass. It was bullshit, though. All right, that was fake. I had a full bottle of wine. It was completely empty by the end of the night, and no one gave me credit for it.
You got it done, JSU. I mean, Big T likes to get on you. And that's what he does. Once he gets the wine in him, he just starts going. So don't worry.
That's what I mean, though. It's not my fault that I'm he was on his third glass of wine 30 minutes into the show. It's not my fault that it took me the full hour and a half or however long that show went for me to get that bottle down. And Big T was already his second, maybe his third bottle down by the time we were finished. That's not my fault that he's just a more experienced drinker than me. I can't help that, people.
All right. Well, it seems like the chat is pretty excited about JSU drinking on the show, so that should be a lot of fun. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. We will be back. We're trying to figure out for a special NBA playoff preview what we will do, of course, Saturday's games, but we'll go ahead and jump into maybe some series prices, some conference prices, and some championship prices as well, and just take a look at the whole bracket as it plays out. We're just trying to coordinate that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out. We will be back soon. I'll check the Run Pure Bets Twitter. We'll let you know when the next episode is. Until then, enjoy the winners and run pure.